Aloha, everyone. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi. Thank
Oh,
you
we
for
already have a
having
first hello
me.
here. Hi, Chris, Elemental
Yay.
Cartomancy. Aloha, everyone coming in. Aloha to everyone playing the playback, watching the playback. I got those words mixed up. That's what's happening to my brain still. Like, long COVID just messes with my brain sometimes, but what are you going to do? You got to keep pushing forward, right? So, for those of you who don't know Lisa Santine, she is the creator of the Destiny deck, which was followed up by the Tarot Treasury.
Look at you.
The Lucine decks, right? And the Destiny Oracle Lace. And the
Oh my
newest
God.
deck, Gifts of the Divine.
That's
Aloha
amazing. Wait, can I ask, where are you seeing the comments? Here we go.
comments.
Okay.
You see it? I can also highlight too. And then Chris of Elemental Cartomancy says, Lisa is my favorite of all your guests, Jonathan. I can say that now while it's quiet. I'm going to make her blush, Chris.
Well, no one's here.
Right. All we need
Chris,
is him to be here and say that with his Scottish brogue. Right?
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
And Lisa also has other beautiful things in her shop, like these amazing silk reading cloths. It can also be a kerchief, right?
Yes, it suits you, Jonathan.
Oh my goodness. So we were kind of talking backstage a little bit about the fact that you're going to be re-releasing a new version of this and then putting it in the vault. And
yes,
that's because of the rampant counterfeiting that's out there, correct?
it is. It's been bothering me so much that I can't even talk about it. And I'm sure, I mean, it's just so out there and prevalent. And even the publisher, the people who produce the cards, they sign NDAs. And so they're not allowed to share the designs with anybody. I have them. And so if you're ever, Jonathan, if you're ever producing anything in the future, hint, hint, then you want to have them sign the NDAs. What does it do? I don't know, in all honesty, if it helps, but they are not allowed to share the information with anyone. And so I think what people do is I think they actually buy the deck and then
buy a deck and scan it.
The one thing that they don't do, they won't do everything, because like the boxes are very expensive probably for them to produce. And so they have tuck boxes. So that's a giveaway. The guidebooks that they produce are not color. They're usually white and black and white and like stapled. So that's another giveaway. And also the cards are not as thick, but they do have the similar coating. So that makes me upset.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's interesting. They're not as they're a little thinner, but they're not as flimsy as you would think. But they're not going to put the money into the production of the other items and the thickness of the card.
Do they have this amazing gilding?
I know. You know what? Can I tell you? I know. Thank you. You know how some gilding, it comes off on your, like, that's another dead giveaway. If the glitter comes, if the gold comes off on your fingers,
comes off,
and that's the first thing I test when they produce mine. I'm like, okay, if it comes off on the fingers, I'm going to be really upset. And it doesn't. It hasn't. If it does, I apologize. Send it back to me, or send me an email, because you shouldn't have gotten one with anything coming off.
No, I mean, the quality of your decks has always been top notch, I gotta say.
Thank you. So yeah.
We do have a question.
Oh, yay.
Does Lisa have a YouTube channel? Yes, I thought I put it in the description, but I'm not 100% sure I did.
I do. I'm not as active on it. I'm definitely not as active as Jonathan, and I need to be more active. And something about me is I don't like being on camera.
Well, I
So
mean, when I started my first like 20 videos, all you saw were my hands because I was, camera down, looking at the deck, talking about it.
yes,
That way, I wasn't on camera. My face wasn't there. It was just my hands.
right.
So, and I know there's a lot of channels where like you never see the person, you just see their hands.
Yeah, and maybe I'll go. And I have gone on camera a little bit, but I like that you're saying that. So that makes me feel good that you did that. And because I am dying to go on there and talk about the decks, and I have this thing of aversion, fear. I don't know what it is.
Stage fright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, just camera down. That way you don't feel like the camera is like facing you. And then you can just talk. Oh, thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris went and tracked down your YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And you'll notice I haven't pushed it. But I will. I'm going to, that's one of my goals. That's my resolution, my June resolution.
Oh, Beth, I love you.
We're
Lisa,
not judging
just a
you.
reminder. Right? We're not judging as much as you're probably judging yourself. And if someone is, they can piss off.
Thank you. You know what? You're so right. That is exactly, I have to remember. And we're our harshest critics, right?
Right. Well, one of the reasons why I had a hard time having my face on camera is because I was born with a cleft lip. And so it made me very self-conscious. And that's one of the reasons why I always had the camera facing down. But then I finally did a live with the camera facing me, and I was like, that's okay.
Yeah, so. And it is and as I'm looking at this big picture of us, I'm like, oh my God, Jonathan looks so good. And then there's, so we're so harsh on ourselves. So I'm like, okay. And no one would have ever noticed anything about what you said. So it's actually like a beautiful trait, right? Like it makes us more beautiful. So anyway, yeah.
Oh, Chris. Well then, everyone go subscribe to Lisa, or I'm coming to hide one of your tarot decks.
I love it. I love that.
Oh, and now Beth is saying, how dare you deprive your audience of your fab necklaces? You know what, Beth? I'm actually wearing one of my necklaces.
I love both of those.
This one I got when I went to Belize. I bought it from a Mayan woman who created it herself. And interesting enough, the day after I bought it, I haven't taken it off since I bought it. And the day after I bought it, I did this tour of the ATM cave, which is the Mayan underworld. So just talking about it's giving me chills because that was an amazing experience. Yeah. There's you're in this underground river, either up to your ankles or up to your chest the whole time. You're caving. You're underground for 3 hours. And you get to this spot in the river where there's a boulder, and the guide has you shimmy up the boulder to this very tall climbing thing, and you have to kind of shimmy up. You get to a certain point where everyone has to take off their shoes, no shoes allowed, and you're not supposed to wear jewelry. You're not you just have your clothes and socks, and that's it.
But you had this.
I had this on, right? I had it under my shirt. And all the artifacts are still in situ, which means they're still exactly where they were.
On site, yeah.
So there's all these sacrifices in there. And first there's these amazing clay jugs that they had brought in with food for the gods to try, because it was a drought. they were trying to like get the rain god to come out of the cave and bring the rain with him.
Interesting.
And the interesting thing was the guide the whole time, he had this like special flashlight that had different colors. So we all had our headlamps on. He'd have everyone turn off the headlamp, and then he'd turn on his flashlight with a flickering red light and point it at the water so it reflected, so we see it like it was when the ancient Mayans are walking through there, right?
Right.
And the weird thing was, like, multiple times he's like, okay, turn off your light. Now you saw that rock? Watch this. And he shined the light down, so it's like kind of reflecting up. And the shadow of the rock was literally like the silhouette of a Mayan god.
That's crazy. Are you allowed to take pictures?
No cameras allowed, because I want to say like 11 years ago it was, someone had brought in a camera. Actually, it was just I think it was just their phone, right? Phone camera.
Right.
Dropped it and broke broke a hole in one of the skulls that were in there.
Oh.
So no cameras allowed, right? And it was very touching, because like the further in you got to this cave, it was like massive. It was bigger than a cathedral. And first there's just these jugs of like food, and then there's like animal bones, and then the further in, the deeper in you got, there was then like human bones, human remains.
Wow. And was Apollo there? Like, can you take?
Apollo was with us.
Kids, yeah.
So there's 2 skulls that were damaged by people either stepping on them or dropping a phone or their camera on the skull. And but one of the first spots where you see these like jugs, the guide was describing how there's like the jugs are like there was 3 of them facing different directions. That was on purpose. And then he's like, everyone turn out your lights. And the stone behind looked like this old woman with like a hooked nose and hooked chin, and like the way the light was kind of like flickering, it made her look like she was eating. It was eerie, right?
Wow.
So that was an amazing experience.
That's so amazing.
So, and I haven't been able to take it off since.
No, I can imagine. Oh my God. That's so lucky that Apollo got to see that at such a young age. Yeah.
We definitely had some amazing experiences with that little kid. So
that's amazing.
Aloha, Jackie. Jackie Crystalman, she's amazing. Thank you, Chris. Oh, Jonathan, you're a handsome, nothing to be concerned about. So, and this necklace is actually one I made. My friend Betsy Palmer gave me the white pearls, and I already had the black pearls. I made this necklace after my dad passed, just as a reminder that like the pearls of wisdom can be light and dark. You know, just there's light and dark in the world. So,
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And there's a disc on there, right? What's that disc?
Yeah.
That one.
Bring it that close enough. So
what
that's
is
a piece of shell with this spiral.
Oh, cool! Wow.
So see if it's better this way.
Beautiful. I see the spiral. I can see it. That's so cool.
So I often wear the spiral.
I love that. Wow.
So I am wearing one of my necklaces. I just wasn't wearing one of the skulls, because there's only so many necklaces you can wear, right? All of them. So can we talk about the difference between the gifts of the divine and your destiny deck? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I wish I had my destiny deck with me. I do have a copy out there, but you have it. That's yeah. I wish I had that with me. Okay.
So, of course, my destiny deck is completely shuffled. I have the divine in order, but
oh, you did? So I shuffled mine. Mine was. Do you put it back in order?
Sometimes for interviews and stuff.
Yeah. That's so funny. I have a weird quirk where I sometimes put the deck in order back again.
Yeah.
And then it takes me a long, long, long time. I have a whole system of how I shuffle it to get it out of order. So mine was in order, and then I took it out of order again.
That's okay.
So I think
my
it's funny
Destiny
that you
deck
have
is
your.
not in order, so.
Okay, that's so. Yeah, that's.
Versus, well, I mean, yeah. Here, show the difference here. So
Yeah.
the Gifts of Divine, there's more color versus like
Yes.
I don't want to call it monotone because it's not really monotone, but
Right. I know. I call it monotone though. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, more.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is monotone. It's just pink monotone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Shades of pink, I guess.
Shades of pink.
Yeah.
I did notice that. Well, I know that you're like a lot of your. I guess it was just the Destiny deck that you put keywords on. Is that right? Yeah.
I did. I put the keywords on the Destiny deck for a couple reasons. One was that it's my first deck that I created. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to introduce to the world that tarot is not scary. And I wanted it to make it accessible to everyone out there. And so I started off with keywords. And then by the time I got to Lucine and Gifts of the Divine, I almost brought it back for Gifts of the Divine. But, interestingly, some deck enthusiasts, they felt like it was like to the detriment of the Destiny deck. Like, I wish you hadn't put keywords on it. So I went back and forth. I'm glad I did. Would I do it again? Yes. Would I do it for a future deck? Probably, because I do feel strongly about it, because what it did is it allowed people who had never used tarot to actually like try it out.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I think part of the thing is, I think when people have been reading for a long time, they feel thrown off when they see a keyword.
Yes.
Instead of feeling like they're being supported by it. Right?
And you're so right. You're so right about that, because and I got a lot of people like, oh, that's an interesting take, so.
But I do love the tie-in here, I gotta say, how both the fools have the deer.
Yeah. I know, I don't know why I cannot get past that. And I started off with similar symbols, and then I transitioned out of that.
Oh yeah, I see the triangle. Yeah, I see a few of those.
The first couple cards I had the symbols. I reintroduced the symbols back, and then I'm like, okay. And then you'll see as it progresses, there's no symbols.
Right.
It might have been just the first 2 or 3 cards. I don't know. These are not.
Well, I was able to find the Magician, so I think it was
just the first, and then I said,
I think it's just the first one, because here's the 2 Magicians.
Yes. Okay, I changed the Magician. I had yes, you're right. Yeah. I got rid of it. Okay. These have gone through so many iterations that by the time I actually sent it to production, I changed the graphics so much that it's like completely a different kind of idea than what I started with when I started.
You have all the iterations in your head, so it's like, which one was it that I ended up sending?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Beth brings up a good point here. I think many seasoned readers develop their own associations with time and experience, and the keywords don't jive, right?
Yes, exactly.
Which, I don't know. I never had any issues with keywords on the deck. So just still talking about the Destiny deck. What is going to be the main difference between this one and the
Okay. So
coming?
a lot of some of the graphics are okay. I keep getting a call. I truly apologize if you hear this in the background.
It just sounds like nice, calming music. So it's okay.
I'm going to. I apologize. Can I just tell them that it's the same person who keeps trying to
Keeps trying to get
reach
in touch with
me.
you. I understand. You're a busy woman. So.
Okay. Okay. Even though I turned the ringer off, they keep calling. Okay, I just sent her. So the graphics are slightly larger. The imagery, some of the images have changed completely. Like some of the imagery, like the moon, for instance, is different, or the sun. The sun is different.
Mm-hmm.
Some have a different, a little more depth than the original Destiny deck, where I've added. You almost feel a tiny bit more depth just to pop the imagery out more. Yeah, the fonts are a little bit larger, and then the border is a little bit closer to the edges. There are some minor differences. Only the actual cards and the idea and the feeling of them haven't changed. It's only so that I can say, okay, I'm doing 500 decks. I want to make them different enough so like I didn't know what to do when I saw that there were so many counterfeits of it. And so I'm like, I'm going to slightly change it. I almost even was like, I'm going to put a hole through it because that's harder for them to like something to make it different enough for them to know. And it was almost like a response.
Right.
So,
which, I know so many deck creators right now who are like going through the same thing and just like canceling decks, saying this is my last print run ever.
Yeah.
Right. So are the backs going to be the same, or are you changing
the back's the same? The back is exactly the same because I didn't want it to lose its anything. It's feeling
charm.
It's charm. And when you have two of them next to each other, of course you'll notice the differences. But if your friend has one and you have one, and you'll barely, the fonts are a little larger, the border, it's exactly what I wrote. And in the campaign, you'll see I'll compare the two cards side by side, which I don't know if I purposely haven't the campaign starts tomorrow. So I purposely didn't if you own the Destiny deck, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it if I had it. But you'll see the two cards side by side and you'll see the slight differences.
Okay.
So that's yeah.
And you haven't seen any counterfeits of this one, right?
So far, not. I haven't seen any. I know. I haven't seen any of Lucine. I haven't seen any of this one. There's the Oracle deck. There are.
Yes. Okay.
But the sad thing, and the counterfeits are all in tuck boxes, and the counterfeit of this one does not have any guidebook, which
doesn't have the guidebook.
Yeah, you need a guidebook.
You need a guide, especially for an Oracle. I mean, I understand not doing a guidebook for a Tarot, but
yeah. And because that one is a very different concept. And so I've been getting, the way I discovered that it was replicated is suddenly I got these emails from people saying, you know what, my deck didn't come with a guidebook. And I'm like, what? That's impossible. What, can you please show me your deck and show me and then they showed me it with a tuck box. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, if I ever,
So
I
just
will never produce a tarot, and I'm not knocking the tuck box. It's great. But the tuck box costs just as much as producing 72 cards. And so I said, I have never produced anything with a tuck box. If I do, it'll probably be playing cards, not a, yeah. So,
no, Beth brings up some. It's really too bad that creators have to deal with worry about counterfeit decks. I wish there was some way to fight back. Maybe creators could unionize and try to get IP laws to strengthen.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how. Wouldn't that be interesting? I wonder if there's a
Tarot union.
union.
Tarot Creators Union.
I mean, like playing cards have their kind of association, a couple different ones, but we don't have one in our community. Would be interesting. Would be interesting. Oh, tuck box rage.
Hi, Gerald. What an entrance.
I'm not knocking the tuck box. I am not.
Wow, the tuck box rage thing is kind of like a kind of inside joke in the Tro tube. Gerald and a few people like created this like long forgotten band, the tuck box rage.
Oh, that is so funny. Oh my God.
Oh, there's so many videos. If you do that hashtag, there's
I'm gonna
videos
do
that'll
that.
make you laugh. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. That's funny.
And yes, Jackie, all the fake decks is terrible. Yeah. Like I know Anna Turian is pulling a bunch of her decks because there's too many counterfeits. There, I mean, so many deck creators I've talked to.
Yeah. Like, what do you do? Maybe you just produce a small amount every time and then
there has to be some way of like making it obvious that it's not a counterfeit.
Right.
I mean, one thing, like you said, is does it come with a guidebook or does it have a QR code on the back? But then that doesn't always work because some creators do put a QR code on the back if they don't want to print out the book because that's more expensive, right?
Right.
So, it's a very fine balancing act.
Interesting.
It's just.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Sawyer stopped completely. She doesn't make decks anymore.
That's a shame because there's so many in my head. There's so many ideas, and now the next one that I'm producing, all I'm thinking about is how do I do it where people would think twice about counterfeiting it, because and so I'm just, I don't know.
It's one of those like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation.
Yeah. And it's all copyrighted. Like this is all, every single face and back is copy. The way you have to do it is
I see the copyright right there.
Yeah, you have to, and it takes a long time to get, but you have to, it's not the deck as a whole is copyrighted. It's every single card is copyrighted. It's very interesting how it works. Yeah. It's very interesting. So each piece,
each card, each image.
Yeah.
So that's like 80 copyrights, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, no, you have more. There's like 82 cards. And then 83, 84.
Yes. Yeah, the book is separate. Yeah, exactly. I know, it's very interesting and it's very time consuming. Luckily, I have a patent attorney who has given me all the, I don't, my,
plug in kind of thing. I do it plug in the information, right?
I do it personally because then it would cost me a fortune just to do that. So he has given me all the ins and outs on how to do it. So, so I spend the time and do it, which is fine. It's under intellectual property laws. They either aren't strong enough or aren't being utilized. Well, and the other thing about that is that it's hard when it's international.
It's international, right?
Yeah.
Right, because most of these are coming from what, like China and Eastern Europe, and
yeah. As far as I know, China. And you know, on Etsy, I'll write to people and they'll say, I apologize. I did not know I purchased X amount. You know, I purchased them from someone and I had no idea, and I'm removing it. I'm removing it from the site. So, and Amazon too. I've also contacted certain sellers on Amazon and they've removed it. So sometimes, but it's impossible for me to keep up with like the international ones. They're on, you know, on Alibaba.
Alibaba, Wish, Temu, like all of them.
Those ones, yeah.
And then I had an incident where I bought a deck on Etsy, and it was like, what was it? It was like the Xmas Elf Tarot or something.
Oh.
And I got it. I'm like, this is obviously a counterfeit. And I reached out and like wrote this long email about like, there's a counterfeit. You probably shouldn't be selling these things. Yada yada yada. The only response was, "We'll send the deck back."
Oh.
And then like a few weeks later, I checked and like the whole shop is just gone. Like they shut down. Like they just yanked everything. I'm like, well, I guess I'm
kidding
out.
me.
And they charged like what you would cost for an actual deck.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. You know, a good seller on Etsy would have probably been like, I sincerely apologize. I had no idea. And
right, no, they obviously knew.
So the fact that it was
only
shut down,
response was just send the deck back.
They obviously knew.
Right.
They obviously
I reported
knew.
them to Etsy, so that might be why their shop disappeared. But
yeah. Etsy's really good about that. They really, you know, they are on the side of the purchaser, but they do look at the buyer, and I mean the seller, and they do look out for us too.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And that's the same thing happened to her too. Exactly the same.
Oh, I'm
Karen
sorry.
on their house got a lame response. Seller was gone. Yep. Probably just reopened a new business.
Got a lame response. Wow, that's too bad.
I have a feeling these people like get their shop shut down and then they just start like get a new email and then open a new one.
They do. They open up as now. Not all the Etsy people. Like I said, I've never had a problem with the Etsy people, as far as I know.
I've gotten some great decks from Etsy, and it's straight from the deck creator themselves. So
yeah, exactly. I know I sell these on Etsy too, and I get a lot of questions. Are these counterfeit? Are these the authentic? And like, I'm the creator, I promise.
Like, I'm the one that
but I'm always happy. I'm like, if you don't feel comfortable, but I always do ask, because I want the wholesalers to get, you know, the people who buy from me, the sellers, to get sales. So I'm like, what country are you from? Because I can refer you to someone in your country. I'm happy for you to go purchase from your country. And so there's that.
I buy so much on Etsy. I told my osteopath that I have Etsy fingers.
That's funny.
I think that might be a few of us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's funny.
Oh my God, we came on here to talk about the deck.
I know, you're talking about counterfeits, Mayan caves, and long COVID, and counterfeiting.
Speaking of Etsy, I sell my necklaces because, you know, my necklaces are a unique, one of a kind. Like, I make them to order for people.
What is your Etsy shop?
Dracorbid Treasures.
Okay.
It's you're probably never gonna get that.
No, but I am, because look, it's your name. It's the Dracorbid, and then Treasures.
Yeah. I have a link to it on my link tree. just throw that in the chat.
You
So
have
my
a
link tree
couple Instagrams.
has that in there. It also has a link directly to make playing cards for my Hawaiian Lenormand that I created. So.
Which is beautiful. I just saw that the other day that you sent me the link. Yeah. And then I'm sure there's other things in the works.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean,
we can talk about that
this
when
is your show, not mine.
I know, but I want that noise. I've been asking for those for years.
I know. It took me 2 years to find a place that I could get it manufactured.
But once you do, can I be the first to purchase it? I know other people have. I know other people have the sample versions. Right. Which I wanted to buy, but you weren't. I know you weren't.
I was well. It's because the sample versions, every time I'd send it out, they'd like all get stuck together, and people would have to take hammers to them to like break them apart. I'm like, this is not okay. I can't do this. I'm not saying this to anyone else.
I know. No. Oh no, and especially some of the people who would. But for someone like us, or like whoever has received it, I bet they love what the outcome of that. The bumpy weirdness of it and how it comes out when you, but I love the clicking sound in there. Yeah.
This is.
I want that. I know. I want that.
And I think it would be beautiful tossed on here.
Oh, yeah. We'll lay those out, toss them on there. Oh my gosh, we'll have to do one once you produce them.
So yeah, my system is specifically to be tossed on a reading to just help. I guess you could call it a clarifier, or like just pulling back another layer.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
How many readings have we done for people where it's like, okay, I need a clarifier, and then you pull a card and it's like, okay, I need another, I need another one, like a 2 or 3.
Yeah, the clarifying line just keeps growing.
Yeah. So it's like, maybe this will help ease what's the hashtag for that? Clarification rage.
Clarification rage. Rage. Oh my gosh. I did notice in your deck that we get animals, right?
Yes. And
women. It's mostly animals and women.
Females, mostly animals and mostly females. You're absolutely right. And
well, this is interesting.
Yeah. That's supposed to look at each other like that. Yeah. That's what it is.
So when I saw this, I was like, is that Anubis? But it's the Empress. So
I know.
Can you help me with that?
Yeah. Okay. So interestingly, I know you mean why I used this for the Empress and the Emperor? I know for me, it was purely, okay. So when I was creating this, I think that was the 3rd or 4th card. I created this deck in the order in the sequence, in the tarot sequence, which I don't always do, by the way. I don't do that. But in this one I did. And when I created this, by the way, you'll notice the Egyptian theme. And there is a little bit of a, I don't know if you can sense it. Maybe you can't, because I might not have known, but there's a little bit of Art Deco in there. I don't know if
you can. Yeah. You can see the Art Deco for sure.
Okay, you can? Because so at that time, so at the time when I was creating this, I was in between, and I was going kind of like Art Deco Egyptian. I don't know why. And the Empress for me is about, it's very, of course, like a very feminine kind of card. It's about, whatever feminine is, it's just like female woman, like this, the peaceful aura. And so I just, for me, that's what this kind of represented at the time. And I just started drawing, and I was like, okay, to me, it almost has a, should I say, like a deer-like quality. Like there's this something kind of like a peacefulness about it. And it, for me, it's about beauty and fertility and all of, and that's what this kind of embodied. Because I was going the Egyptian route at the time. And then I left that. I left that Egyptian theme, but I wanted
to have the Hierophant
there. Yeah, I know. I wanted to keep this theme in there. And so that's kind of what
I love the lovers, I gotta say. That's a great lovers card.
And I've kept the lovers as birds for a while. Like even in the Destiny deck, the lovers are birds, the two birds. Because I love how they intertwine with each other. And so that's why I created that in that style.
The Destiny deck has entwined birds too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then that almost looks Assyrian in a way.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
That's so funny. Yeah. So again, I like the animals. One thing I'm trying to incorporate in my future decks is more male, figurative male. And part of it, this one is. So if you notice, I cannot, the female figure is easier for me to do in a line drawing, and the male figure is not. And so I've been experimenting with that, and I've had a hard time with that. And I really wanted to incorporate a lot more of the male. And so a lot of times when there's a male or a more of a masculine feeling behind the card, I go animal, even though in the Emperor, I go animal. And so, because I don't know why.
Because this is easier for you to draw.
It's easier for me to draw, number one. And number two, also, I don't want someone, just because a card is feminine doesn't mean it's necessarily female. So sometimes, or just because it's masculine doesn't mean it's male. So that was a big deal for me, even though, but I do love drawing the female figure. I just think it's a lot easier for me to draw.
Oh, I love this death card.
I'm glad you love it. I know I love that flower. To me is so death. I forgot what I was looking at flowers. I forgot what it's called. And oh my gosh.
I want to say it's a peony. Is that right?
No, I don't think the one, the about, no, not the one.
This one.
Yeah, that one. I don't remember, but I was really inspired by that flower.
Thistle, maybe?
Some kind of thistle, probably. And I was, like I said, very inspired by that as death. And again, I don't want death to be a scary thing. And I find those kinds of skulls like beautiful for me. I don't know, I do.
I've got a huge skull collection.
Yeah, exactly.
Including a bird skull made out of, was it? Oh, there's that COVID brain again. Is some sort of jasper, but it's escaping me right now.
Oh.
Temperance. I love that. Oh, there's some of the symbols from
previous. I brought in some of the previous symbolism. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I did. Oh,
this is a very intriguing devil.
Again, I didn't want the devil to be scary. Yeah, I see. How many decks do you have out? Are they on Etsy or your website? Okay. Jonathan showed them. So I have
one. Well, Lucine is 2 in like 2 versions. So
yeah.
I don't know if you count that as 2 different ones, maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Maybe
5 decks.
5 decks. Yeah, and they're on Etsy and the website. Yes. A huge scholar from all the people who have displeased you.
Actually, most of them are crystal skulls, so you don't have to worry about that. Although we do have a real, I think it's an alligator skull in our waterfall in our pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, being outside means it's slowly starting to disintegrate.
Oh, that's what I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no. My husband got it when he was in New Orleans, and it was like a full alligator with like the bottom jaw and everything. I think the bottom jaw is gone at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wish I kept my cards in here so I could pull up what you have. I'm looking for them. But yeah, that's the devil. Here we go. I mean, it's very pleasant, the devil card.
Mm-hmm. Again, the wings makes me think of Syrian, but then you got the moon goddess figure there with the eye in the middle.
Well, for me, the wings, and especially while they're down, it's the idea of a fallen angel kind of thing. Right. So that's why I incorporated the wings. Yeah.
And then here we are trying to catch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's no fear, I guess, for when you get that card kind of thing.
Well, and it's a good I guess symbolic representation of embracing your shadow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why for me, every card in tarot is positive, and I'm sure for you too. I mean, yeah, regardless.
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't like getting the Tower. And
I know.
think the Tower is one of the most powerful cards you can get because it's like everything's been stripped down.
Truly
you can start over and like start fresh. So it's like that moment of like finally I can release.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Like, wouldn't you rather know what has been, wouldn't you rather you're kind of, if you don't have a strong foundation, at least now is the time for it to crumble, like rather than down the road. At least now and you can renew. And for me, it's fair. Oh, Designalicious. Yes, my shop name is Design because I created it years and years and years ago, and I couldn't change the name, so it is Designalicious.
Well, I gotta say, it is Designalicious.
Oh, I wish I had kept these in order.
It's okay. I got them in order. I'll hold them up and talk about them. This is a gorgeous moon card.
The moon. Oh yeah. I love the moon.
I see a little of the symbology in
there. There is some symbolism in there. Yeah. So yeah, I did reintroduce the symbolism in some of them.
In some of them, right?
Especially in the majors more than the minors.
Right.
Yeah. And I know because it's botanical, I wanted to have the sunflower as the sun. Maybe it's a little bit.
Makes perfect sense.
Very, very literal, or maybe not. I don't know.
Some of them look like morning glories, and some of them look like passion fruit.
Oh, yeah. Well, some of them I don't even know because I just found beautiful images and I'm like, okay, that will go in this card. And
right. So, this kind of flower here with the little tendrils.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a Tahitian liliquoi outside and it's like
it's similar.
A purple version of that.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Oh yeah. And it probably is. These ones I changed I just wanted to maintain this theme of like golds blues and greens kind of thing.
Right. No, I like that you have your color palette for each deck too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world. Yeah.
And then we get into the minors. The minors are more pippish.
Yes, I always do more pippish cards. Just because, and then the card speaks for itself. That way.
Hi, Heather.
You can assign your own meaning behind, or you take the meaning of what it is. But
because some people do, they read numerologically with the element.
Yeah, it's more
RWS,
the element. I agree. Yeah.
Two of Cups. That's beautiful.
And I just love water, and so I just couldn't wait to get to the cups. And you'll notice a couple different graphics for the cups. I didn't use one cup graphic because I got so excited about just the water part and showcasing the water.
Okay, when are you coming to Maui? Because I got so many watery places to show you.
I just love water. Yeah. And I'm a fire.
I can take you to amazing spots where you can get into ocean water, but I can also take you to amazing spots where you get into like Iao Valley. I've known people who's they went and soaked in the waters of Iao Valley when they were getting chemotherapy because it was the only thing that cut the heat that they were feeling.
You're
magical
kidding.
Water there. It really is.
Amazing.
There's that 5 of Cups. I love this image, truthfully. And the water comes from behind the cups instead of the actual cups.
Well, I know. That's, yeah. Gosh, I shouldn't have shuffled my deck.
It's okay.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for, to show them off so you can just focus on talking.
Oh, look what it says. These cards are so beautiful. Can you describe your creative process? Oh, that is such a good question. I start off usually, something will inspire me to create. Oh, I want to create a deck that is this botanical, that is whatever, and it'll start off that way. And then a lot of times I have in my little phone here, I'll show you. Let me see if I could pull up something. It's crazy. Just out of the blue, I want to show you my process. This is very crazy. I hope that I have it here. I will be somewhere, anywhere, and then I will take, this is for the desk. Well, no, let me find another one. What I'll do is so I have, it's numbered like 1, 2, 3. These are each individual thoughts. And so what I'll do is I'll be walking in the park, or a lot of times it happens when I'm strangely around water. It comes out around water, or when I'm being very active, going on a hike. I don't run anymore, but it would have been like when someone's running, for instance, like something that is very active and you're in a meditative state, and a thought will come to me and I'll just write it down. I'll write down the visions that I'm seeing and images, and then meanings. And from that is where I come up with cards. I pull this up. Yeah, I do a lot of it. I'll just do a quick sketch, a nothing sketch, but I'll usually start working in the program Illustrator. And then this will be next to me. My notes will be next to me as I'm drawing, and I'll try to incorporate every one of those ideas, the visions that I saw in that image. It's really weird. And some things don't make any sense. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what does this even mean? And either I'll try to interpret it, or I'll be like, this is so far out of like any kind of realm of understanding of what it is that I'm going to throw it out the window.
Heather says, I've got another deck on my list. And then Beth says, this deck is a very ocean Santa Monica feel to me.
Oh, thank you. I live at the beach. I live in Manhattan Beach, so it's Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in Santa Monica, but it's kind of near Santa Monica. So yeah, I do. I live at the beach.
Gorgeous. Yeah,
it's pretty.
Yeah. Chris says, do you have a lot of water in your chart, Lisa?
So I have, my rising is Scorpio, but I have a lot of fire. I have water. Yes. My Mars, my Venus is in Scorpio. My rising is Scorpio. So I do have a lot of water, but they're more my main, like my sun. What was that?
Rising is one of your main, right?
It is my main. And it's Scorpio. I don't have a lot of earth is what I don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. Although strangely, my north node is Earth, which makes sense because it's my most kind of difficult.
It's the one you're working on.
My north, Capricorn, So Mars and Venus are very good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, the court cards are all animals except for the queens.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because
well, the queen
for that reason. For that reason that I told you. Yeah.
And Chris says lots of Scorpio. Scorpio sun and Pluto.
Okay, so Scorpio sun. Yeah, I love Scorpio suns. I mean, yeah, Scorpio is one of my favorite signs.
Makes me think you need to come in winter when the humpback whales are here.
I know. I would love to. I'd love to.
Beth says, what is the exact name of the deck you're showing, Jonathan? Not to get too Virgo. It is the Gifts of the Divine. Yeah. I've got all of Lisa's decks spread in front of me, so I'd be happy to show all of them.
Not to get too Virgo. Virgo's Virgo. I don't know if Virgo can be too Virgo. There's Virgo is always. I love I have a daughter who's a Virgo, and she's always.
Beth and I have the same birthday.
The same. Mm-hmm. Wait, when is your birthday exactly? Exactly. 7th. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, Beth was born a bit before me. But we both have September 7th as our birthday.
That's nice. Yeah.
This is a gorgeous Ace of Pentacles. I have a thing for butterflies, so.
I do too.
Well, I grew up in Santa Cruz where the monarchs came every year.
Oh.
So, and then when I was really little, we were in Pacific Grove, and one of my first memories is my preschool class dressing like monarchs to march in the monarch parade. And
that's so cute. That is so cute. I love that.
God, Beth. Except I could be his mom. It's true, but that's okay. It's more like an older sister vibe.
That's nice. Yeah.
Lots of butterflies in the pentacles.
Yeah. A lot of butterflies. You're right. A lot of butterflies. There's some bees. Well, are there some bees? There might be some bees. I wanted to incorporate more on the cover. There's bees because I love bees.
Yeah. There's bees, butterflies, birds on the cover.
Birds. Yeah. The butterflies, I put a lot of butterflies on the earth, on the coins, on the pentacle card.
Oh, interesting. I just noticed that the only card that doesn't have butterflies is the 5 of Pentacles.
You know, that's interesting. I don't think that was intentional. Maybe subconsciously it was, but that is interesting. But and I think that it should be that the pentacles were the ones with the butterflies for many
Mhm.
reasons. And it's also me trying to get in touch with my earth, the earth part that
Right.
I'm trying to connect with. Um, but yeah, that's I have to look into why I didn't put any butterflies there.
Well,
Well,
there's
this one
also
doesn't have
doesn't have
butterflies.
butterflies too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. That's
this one's just got
funny.
one big one
Hmm.
in the middle there.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
yeah,
so I
the
just got to address this. So, Beth,
oh,
the reason why I don't mention age for anybody is because it was ingrained in me and my mom's family that like age is something you never talk about. Like
yep,
even
same.
their tombstones only had the date of death, did not have the date of birth because they didn't want anyone to know how old they were when they died.
Wait, that's
That's
so
true.
interesting, Jonathan. That's the same for what my father's passed. Same,
Hmm.
exact. And
And
it
I
had
helped my mom break through that because now she's very like happily will announce her age to anybody. Like she's like, well, I earned it because I'm old now. So,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's
it's
funny.
interesting that we have that same thing. I think we
Yeah.
had the same wardrobe fairy tap us in the brain because we match.
I know. I know.
But that happens every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Probably.
I love this Nine
Yeah.
of Pentacles. It really
Yeah,
gardens feel, make your garden feel.
this is, I love, this is one of my favorite cards. My favorite card, because it embodies like the whole deck kind of. This one was
Mm.
I could not wait to create this one, believe it or not.
Nine
Like
of
I had,
Pentacles is one of my favorite cards.
is it
Like that's usually one of the
really?
ones that I look for in a deck to see if I want the deck.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. And it's very Virgo of you to like the Nine of Pentacles.
It is a Virgo card after all.
That's so interesting that Nine of Pentacles is what you look at.
It's one of, I mean,
I love
there's certain cards that I always look for when I'm looking.
Wow. That's
Oh, Chris.
funny.
Oh my god, that's funny. Aloha, Rossi. Thanks for joining us.
That's so funny.
When I first saw this, like for a split second, it looked like a dream
Oh,
catcher to
someone
me.
said wait. Oh. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it's supposed to look like. It is very dream catcher. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
funny.
Heather
No, but
couldn't.
I'm looking here. Someone said they hate snakes because I'm seeing something about love everything but snakes.
But snakes, right?
Yeah.
And then
I
Chris
love
says,
snakes.
Heather, don't hate the snakes. The Ace of Cups
Love
and
everything
the
but snakes.
Ace of. I'll warn you, Heather, so you can look away if you need to.
Yeah.
We
No,
already did
some
the Ace of
you know
Cups.
thing. It's the sword. I want to say it was like I put a snake in one of the
There's two.
swords.
There's the
Yeah,
Ace
there's two
of
snakes.
Cups and the Ace of.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the other one?
Could it be a wand or so? I'm trying.
I
Oh
can't remember.
boy.
I know I saw it. No, I no. I'll let you know before I hold it up.
The page of swords. That's what I want to
The
say. The
Page of
page of
Swords. That's what
swords.
it was. I was thinking it
Yeah,
was the
the
Ace
page of,
too, and I was just like, that's not right because I just looked at the Ace. It's not there.
yeah, yeah.
here's
I know.
here's the Page. And these are more like moths, huh?
Moths. They are moths because moths can be so pretty. Yeah. They are moths. That's funny that
I
you.
love the Knight of Pentacles is a hummingbird. It's like, that's interesting. Usually you think of the Knight of Pentacles as being slow, but hummingbirds are not slow. They just take their time with what they want, right?
Yeah, but I did love the idea of the knight, almost the hummingbird, like almost like messenger like, and I don't know. For me it was like a delivery of sorts, like
Right.
So I considered it very night-like, I don't know. It was.
Well, I
I don't
love
know how.
hummingbirds. I have a special connection with hummingbirds because when I was, how old was I? I think I was like 16, and my mom, at like the back of her house, like they had built like this sunroom around the back porch, and so she turned like this jungle kind of vibe. And one day she comes running in. She's like, "Oh my God, there's hummingbirds trapped in my greenhouse!" And so I went in. I was like trying to capture them, and like they kept darting away. And then I finally just like paused and went, "I'm just trying to help you. Just let me pick you up, and I'll take you outside." And I had been trying to use like a cloth to catch them, and I put the cloth aside, and I just reached out with my hand, and they let me pick them up. And one was this iridescent red, and the other one was like this iridescent green. And I just picked each one up, took them outside, like opened my hand, and they paused for a minute, looking at me like almost like a thank you, and then flew off.
Oh, how old were you?
16.
16. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
So I've always had a connection to hummingbirds.
Amazing.
A lovely queen. The king.
Yeah. That's mostly my king imagery. Yeah.
The wolf. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have the Ace of Swords. We're in the sword suit. Do you go up? Do you go down? I love the spiral in the middle. That spiral of thought, right?
Yeah, I love doing the swords. The swords and wands I love doing. And I love swords. I do. I love the sword suit very much.
It's interesting. Swords has always been kind of, I want to say, like the hardest suit for me to read. I'm like, at this point, I'm okay with it. But like when I was first starting, swords always just was like, I don't know. There was just like a disconnect for me. I think it was just because, I don't know. Maybe I just needed to embrace the sword energy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, now I'm fine with the swords. But
it's one of my favorites to pull in a reading because for me, the swords, I feel like I get a lot of like intuitive understanding when I pull the sword for the person. I love them. I do. And especially a lot of times if someone is more swordy, like a swordy pull, like they get all the, it's incredible how many, have you noticed that? Like if something with either communication or work or very work related, I get a lot of swords. Like, oh my gosh, this is very interesting.
I have a question from Beth here. Lisa, is the sword suit the easiest or the most fun for you to create?
Oh, interesting.
Do you have a physical suit?
Funny enough that you say that, the swords is the easiest for me to create. That's a really good question, and I don't know why and how. That one is my easiest to. I don't. Some of them take a very long time for me. Pentacles takes a very, very long time. I have a lot of trouble with it, which is understandable. And weirdly, cups, and cups are some of I love the water, like water is my favorite, but cups are very difficult for me. But swords, And I have a lot of fire, so I mean, wands are a little easier too. But yeah, I love this one.
So I have a question about that, because there's some decks that switch the elements between swords and wands, where
Oh,
swords are fire and wands are air.
oh,
Do you have?
I've never switched. Wands have always been fire for me. I very much relate wands with fire. Like I've never, I can't think of an instance where like in a reading, I can't think of an instance where it's switched meaning. Interesting.
Yeah.
What do other people say about that? That's so.
And Beth says, I would have guessed Pentacles would be difficult because you don't have much Earth in your chart.
Yeah.
And Cups because you're too close to it.
I think you're right. I think that might be very true. Because those two Pentacles are really hard. Yeah, Pentacles are really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
Wait, so I really would love to hear about this.
Yeah, so anyone in the chat, what do you think about when decks switch the elements for swords and wands? And then not too long ago, just a few years ago, I discovered that apparently some Italian decks switch the elements of cups and swords. So cups are air and swords are water. And that just, I'm like, okay, I can understand the swords and the wands switching. That makes a little more sense to me. The cups and swords, what?
Oh. I personally couldn't get a deck if the wands were air. My brain would break. Yeah, I can't. I'm at Lisa's website. Oh, thank you. Yeah, wands are always fire for me too. I do have the Canon read, which is tarot, which swaps air and fire, but I don't read with it much. Wow.
Well, and there's several decks I have. The art is Lisa Hunt, and the writing is, I want to say, DJ Conway. And they do the same thing where they switch it. But then if you read the book, it's still the same meaning, even though the elements are switched.
Oh.
Which is just kind of like, huh? You think if the elements would switch, it would switch the meanings of the cards. But a lot of these decks that I personally have that have the suit switched, the meanings stay the same, even though the elements are different. Which is very interesting, right? And I've heard of the reason why some people switch those two is because the idea of wands being fire, they don't want the tool being consumed by the element. Whereas swords are made with fire, right? And the wands are air because, they come from the trees that produce the air we breathe. So I kind of get that, but it took me a while to wrap my brain around that concept. And then once I heard the whole Italian thing with the cups and the swords switching, I'm like, just switch the wands and swords. I can handle that easier.
I can handle it easier too. But even so, I don't know if I could, if my brain could switch like that. Maybe. I guess.
Yes, Beth. Well, the other thing is wands being air is more of a Wiccan thing, right? Because like Wiccan circles, the sword represents the fire, the wand represents the air.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Which
that makes a lot of sense.
I had a deck like that, Jonathan.
Yeah, and they're all
Facebook, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be hard too, where it doesn't tell you what the suit is and it's just people. Yeah, that'd be confusing.
Yeah, I've had some where I can't even tell what.
Look away, Heather. Look away.
It won't even say. Oh yeah. Gosh, I love this name.
I love the pages. I'm a big fan of snakes too. I've never had a fear of snakes. So.
Yeah, no, I love them.
Despite my experiences in Costa Rica.
Oh no. Did they sneak up on you?
Well, I just like I can't tell you how many times we almost stepped on a coral snake,
Yeah.
and when my mom was having her house built,
Oh.
we were sitting like just the bottom was created. We were like living in tents, and like the bottom level had been created, so at least we had a kitchen and like kind of dining area. But like there was no door or anything, and
Yeah.
we're sitting there eating, and we look over, and like there's a pile of dirt with a shovel stuffed in the dirt, and we look over, and there's this huge snake wind around the shovel looking at us with its mouth open.
Wow. What did
Yeah,
you
that was a little
do?
scary.
Yeah. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was just a little kid. My stepdad grabbed a machete, unfortunately. So, well, because a lot of the snakes in Costa Rica are deadly venomous.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't mind graphics.
Okay.
Looks like a little snake.
Well, that was the last snake in the deck, so you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Chris points out that in playing cards, diamonds are fire. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Beth says, I love that, Jonathan. That's like an Ace of Pentacles card.
Ace of Pentacles.
Well, because the Ace of Pentacles also had this snake, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The Ace of Pentacles? No, I'm second guessing myself.
Ace, it's one of the, it's not the Ace of Swords, and it's probably the.
No, it's the Ace of Cups, I believe.
I know. Isn't it funny that I don't even remember my.
What was it?
Oh, it's a Page of Cups. Page of Cups.
Page of Cups. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's two pages. Yeah. The Page of Cups and the Page of Swords.
The page. Yeah.
Oh, she means the snake on the shovel. Right. That image of like dirt with a shovel and the snake around it.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Oh my gosh, that's kind of fun. We should do shovels on the next deck.
That was a great Queen of Swords.
I had fun with this one. Yeah.
I can tell you had a lot of fun creating this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And you'll see the queen's tail, you see the tail coming into the king. If you put it together, it's just.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be. Kind of like.
I see.
They're kind of connected somehow. Just for fun.
Right?
Yeah.
That was actually, I don't know if you got to watch the video of the Osman Spar Tarot. It's a deck from 1906 that it's more like playing cards almost. But he has images on the edges of the cards that when certain cards are together, it creates an image.
I love that. That's fun. Yeah. I know. I kind of wanted to do one like that one day.
Gerald says, I don't mind when elemental associations are switched. I just need the creator to tell me why. And the image needs to convey the proper meaning for the association and number.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing that was confusing to me, Gerald, is that the decks that I have that have switched the elements, like the Three of Swords is still the Three of Swords, even though it's
the meaning is the
fire
same
instead of air, which is just like, what?
Weird. Yeah,
that was the thing that was like giving me a disconnect there.
Did you reach out to the creator by chance?
I haven't.
I'm so interested.
DJ Conway has passed, I believe.
Oh, okay. Wasn't there the writer? There was the creator and the writer. Am I wrong?
Well, there was the creator and the artist.
And the artist, okay.
I need to. It's another.
The artist isn't. Yeah, I mean the artist is.
The artist just does what they're asked.
Does what the
This is a beautiful Ace of Wands.
Thank you. Yeah, I had fun with the wands too. Wands and swords are fun to create for me.
Well, of course, you got a lot of fire, right?
The wands are, yeah, those are very fun. Yeah.
Beth says, Lisa, may I digress to the beautiful bracelets in your Etsy shop? Did you make them? They're so calming. How
Oh.
would I size them? Sorry to.
Oh.
No, it's okay. Change it.
I did make them. And do you mean size like 6-inch, 7-inch, like that? You can. I respond to my Etsy emails all the time, but I also
really
have my
does.
own email. I have like 3 emails just for Lisa Santine.
You're welcome.
And I respond to all of them. When it's funny when Jonathan's like, "What email should I send?" It's basically any email you want.
Just
Oh,
something
really?
at
Yeah.
lisasantine.com.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for having Lisa on, John. I just love her text. Thank you. Nice to meet you
That's
too.
Heather, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Heather.
And I will be actually on Heather's channel on Friday. We
Oh
are
my
doing
gosh.
another painting session.
You guys are so good about being on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, we try. I have 3 lives this week.
Yeah, I believe it. And on top of a father life, is that the
Yeah.
4th? And husband
I
life?
have to schedule my lives for when my kid's at school.
Yeah. I know. I know. I'm the same. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
And Beth says she's going to email.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Great. Thank you. That's perfect.
I love that
8 of
sun.
Wands. Yeah. I love drawing the sun. And every time I'm like, I'm going to do this for the sun and that for the
You're a
sun.
still cowgirl, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas I'm a, South Maui boy, so.
Yeah.
I've actually had thoughts of having a sun tattooed on me.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Might have to talk to you about designing it for me.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. It's funny. I've gotten some requests for some tattoo designs. Isn't that funny?
Well, your design work is perfect for design, I think.
Yeah, especially the line work, because it's like, yeah, you want something that has line
clean,
work.
crisp lines, that's what you're all about.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this bunny.
It's such the page, isn't it? I just thought, oh my gosh.
That's when you get very, yeah, I love that.
Kind of like, yeah, like happy-go-lucky, naive, kind of thing. Yeah.
So interesting enough, when I was driving my kid to school this morning, I saw pueo. So interesting fact, the owls in Hawaii are actually diurnal, so they're day creatures.
Oh, you're
They hunt
kidding.
during the day. Yeah.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have known that. Interesting. And what do and then at night they sleep? What do they do?
Night. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
And interesting enough, my husband and I were at a beach, and we were told, if you just go over that mound, there's like an ancient Hawaiian ruin, right? So we go over the mound, there's like an ancient Hawaiian village, like some of the rock walls are still standing. And we see that the temple is still in use. Like the altar has like stuff, like obviously fresh stuff on it. And as I'm like about to step over the threshold to walk into the altar, like to go check it out, like I didn't even get my foot in when a pueo, the Hawaiian owl, came, circled the temple 3 times, landed in a tree, and started staring at us like, you are not supposed to be here. And we're like, we're sorry, we don't mean to be here, we're not like, please, we're okay, we're gonna leave now, bye.
That's incredible. That's so cool.
You gotta listen.
You have to observe, and exactly. So
So
many
it was
people.
obviously the like guardian of that temple.
Oh. Oh my gosh, you're putting them on the spot. Oh my goodness gracious.
My problem is I can never pick a top 5. That's why I always say I have a top 10, I
Yeah.
guess, and that's always fluctuating.
It always
But yeah,
fluctuates.
Destiny deck definitely is in my top 10 for sure. And I really love the Lucine decks because you got the like the dark and the light thing going
The
on.
shade
Really,
and the shadow. Yeah, the
right,
shadow and the light. Yeah.
exactly. So, and I haven't really gotten to play with this that much, just a little bit. And I like your Oracle a lot. I mean, I don't. I like them. They're definitely in my top 20. All 5 are in my top 20.
Oh, thank you. I know I fluctuate too. Sometimes I pull, like lately, I've been doing readings for people and I've been using the Destiny deck. But believe it or not, a lot of times I don't use the Destiny deck. I'll use, my go to always still is the Rider-Waite. Like I still, that's my first. Is it my first ever? Probably. I don't remember. It was so long ago,
Right,
but
so long ago at this point.
yeah, I feel like that's what they had. And it's all like, bent and, you
Round
always,
edges and right.
yeah, it shuffles perfectly. It was probably $10 or $5. Who knows how much it was at the time, right?
Okay.
And
The 80s.
in the tuck box.
Right. Yeah, my tuck box fell apart, so I had to get a bag for my deck.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
my aunt gave me the one JJ Swiss, but the little piece of paper that was in the box was like, it only talked about the majors, said nothing about the minors, didn't say anything about numerology or elementalism, or nothing.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know how to work with this. And then I was at summer camp in New Jersey, and like I signed up for this class that the teacher was teaching all things New Age. So it's like tarot and runes and pendulums and crystals and energy work and past life regressions and like the whole gambit. And that's how I got introduced to the Rider-Waite Smith, and like that was my main deck for a long time.
Yeah, I still love it. Yeah.
So the Gifts of the Divine do have extra cards at the back, some goddesses. Goddess Santine.
Yeah.
Which is you, right?
Well, kind of, believe it or not. Yeah. I mean, it embodies some of it's a life path one. And so it does embody some of my life path. But it also is about, which I am not, but it's who I more or less like would have liked to be, but the wild woman kind of thing. Like this one has a wild side, believe it or not. So it's like, it's like, you know what I mean, right? It's not that it's me who I would, yeah. So that's who that is.
Then we have Goddess Soline.
And Soline is this very peaceful. It's almost like the different energies of people. It's not just because it's a goddess doesn't mean it's it doesn't mean they do have a lot of feminine energy, but it's also masculine, of course. But one is like the peaceful. Yeah, exactly.
And then we got Ella and Joya.
Yeah. And those are my daughters actually, but it also encompasses their energy, which is like they're very, very different energies. And so Goddess Joya is very Virgo. She's very Virgo. She's very to the ground. Yeah, that's a Virgo energy. Goddess Ella, so as a funny thing, I put a bunch of butterflies all over Goddess Ella because my daughter is deathly afraid of butterflies. And that's why I put the butterflies in the pentacle cards too. It's almost as a funny joke. And so the person who I said I'm not going to be available till 1:30 is FaceTiming me.
Oh my goodness.
I
Well,
wish
it is 1:30 there, isn't it?
it is. Yes,
Okay.
it's okay. But yeah, so the Ella has butterflies all over her for a joke. It's a joke.
And for those of you who missed, this is the backs of the deck.
Yeah.
And Lisa is a popular woman.
It's so hard.
Well, I mean, you have multiple businesses, so you're architect first, right?
It's architecture in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being
Oh
here.
my gosh, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I can't believe we've been on for an hour and a half. It just
I
flew by.
know. It flew
Always
by.
flies.
Like I wanted so badly to talk about your stuff. I know that this is Lisa Santine, but I want to talk about your pentacles.
My
runes.
runes, my two-sided runes.
I'm obsessed with this. So I really am the biggest fan, and we need to get that out there.
Well, I just need to get this out there. I need to sit down and write
Okay, they are non-stop. I'm really embarrassed. And this is on mute, by the way. Are you there?
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Well,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I will say thank you, Lisa. Just for a moment, I will. I'm going to do my little outro. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Catch me on Thursday with Kim of Abundant Life Tarot, and then on Friday I'll be on Heather's channel. We're doing another painting session, so that'll be fun. So thank you, everyone, for being here, and until next time, aloha and obriko.